This is Coral, and you're listening to The Forward Thinker Show. Today, we're joined by Olbin Gill, a mechanical engineering student, former president of Eco Engineering Club, now advisor, and former regional winner of the NIFTY competition. So excited to have you here. Olbin, how are you?
So everything's good this semester. I think new opportunities to do new things and ability to exercise more ideas. And stuff.
Yeah, exercise your ideas, exercise your mind, exercise your brain.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the reason I brought you in here is because you're always here at Startup FIU.
Yeah.
And we have this event called Hacker Nation. Basically, it's just a round table with the director of the program, and we just talked about can talk about entrepreneurship and things, and a lot of things. And I always find that his insights are always they stand out. So I'm just like, okay, I need this man on the podcast. Today we're gonna be talking about the topic of the day is how we can apply entrepreneurship, engineering, and creativity to build sustainable inventions, which is something that you've done with your experience.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I want to know your story. Like, where are you from? What's your background? And why did you choose computer engineering?
Well, I chose mechanical engineering.
Mechanical engineering. Sorry.
So I am originally from Honduras. I moved to the United States when I was 9 years old. I first moved to Pennsylvania, and it was really tough because I didn't know the language at all. I was a very quiet kid, just like learn by watching everything. So that was challenging for any student that comes as from other country, right? So now I moved to Miami, and growing up, it was easier because everyone spoke the language and adapting to the culture. So I really enjoy Miami in that sense. But then now developing my interest in engineering and business. So I always, as a kid, loved to draw, but I would draw like in the goal of being very realistic, as much realistic as I could, and I used to enjoy how to draw cars a lot. And I would just, like any other kid, just drawing. But then I asked my sister, what could I do to make this to do this as a career? And she told me, like, straight up, I was like 7 years old, become an engineer. So because she said that, my mindset was into that since I was like 6 or 7 years old. I was thinking of becoming maybe an artist, because I enjoy drawing. But no, she said, like, engineering, if you want to make this, engineering will be like good path for you. And I started little by little, like learning more about the field, and then going into middle school, I learned more about the science of things, of science of mechanical engineering. I fell in love into that, how make mechanical systems work, like how everything comes in pieces and works. And then in high school, I developed it further by joining engineering, like an engineering club where I had to build robots. And I learned about like how to make things, and also learn how to design things, how to do 3D printer there, how to use 3D printing at my high school. And I just fell in love in being able to come up with an idea and be able to make it. So, and then I was able to do some business competitions and use my engineering skills to make good products and stuff like that. So that's how I develop my interest into the field.
So I know. So what led you to because I noticed that you said that you've revived a old club on eco engineering. What was the thing that sort of led you to want to get into sustainable inventions and sustainable technology?
So engineering itself, it's about making systems efficient. So everything is about using the least amount of energy, the least amount of parts as necessary, right? So eco-friendly solutions are geared towards that, but with a bigger focus to use as less energy as possible. So for me, I just found electric cars very interesting. For that, I found them to be, huge a way to make this automotive industry like better and just revolutionize how things are made. So I found it interesting when I was a freshman. And I came on the first week of school, and there was a big fair of clubs, and there were multiple clubs. There was this club called SHEP, and another one called Engineers Without Borders, which is about building like a water system for in Nicaragua. And there was another club called Panther Motorsports, which was about building a racing car. I knew about that club before joining FIU. I wanted to join that club. I had my mind to join that club. But then I passed by this little table. It didn't have no tablecloth, and didn't have no nothing, just like some things in it. And it said, and on the paper said, no, it didn't say anything. I talked to the person, what are you guys doing? And she said, oh, we're making an electric car. And just there, I was like, I'm going to join this club. They didn't have anything, but they just said they're just going to make an electric car. I just got excited. And my freshman year, I joined. And since then, I've been I worked towards, being active in the club.
How did it feel in that moment where you finally found that like piece of, technology that you wanted to work on?
I found it very exciting. Like I found it relieved that I had an opportunity to explore this field. To have like I want to do electric cars as now I'm in my career. After I graduate, I want to go into automotive field, and specifically electric cars. I always had that in my mind, and I've been able to have the opportunity to pursue that. To think about that.
And I noticed that not only like did you revive the club, but you made it bigger than it used to be, and that takes sort of like an entrepreneurial energy. How did you even get that sort of energy to make something so big, even though you said that you used to be kind of shy?
So so it was my freshman year that I joined, and the year didn't go well for Eco Engineering Club. We were supposed to make the car, but the car never got made, and the reason was because of the not really good management. And so the only thing that we had was a chassis, and there was no everyone by the end of the year. There was like nobody left, nobody really caring about the project. But I had a good connection. Like I was develop a good connection with the president, and midway through the year, I was also like helping a lot with the aerodynamics. But because like there were no finances, there was nothing going on, everything got developed. But like he knew that I was very active and that I was able to manage things. And so I was the only member left by the end of the year. So it was just the president and me. And because like most of the team also were seniors, so they just like graduated after, like half of the people just graduated. So he said, do you want to join? Do you want to take over the club? Or if that's okay with you, you can do however you want. But if you don't, then, the club would just that will be the end of it. And I was unsure at the moment because I knew, that it would take a huge effort to make something as big as a project as making electric cars. It would take a lot of energy. But I wasn't sure, like, if I wanted to do that. But going back to what I said, like, I was interested in making things in business, right? And I took like an engineering club as a mock trial. If I wanted to build a company, how would I, handle all of this, right? Like this would be my first step into managing, into leading, creating something new. And I think clubs are a good way to do that, specifically technical clubs. So there's honor society, general clubs, and there are technical clubs that are geared towards making making a project. And I think there's a really, really good chance for anyone who is interested in entrepreneurship, because you literally just have to make something new and have to organize, influence other people, have to manage timelines, have to manage requirements. So and all those things are happening in entrepreneurial in all the entrepreneurial projects, right? So I took that as a challenge, as a way to, like, if I were able to recreate, you know, that environment, and which I did. So that was the main. So that's why I took it seriously, because it was a way for me to practice, right? If I wanted to build a company in the future, and which gave me a lot of energy. So that was the main reason that I took over, and with that, yeah, just my goal to make things as better as I could.
So what were some of the strategies you used from, like, having that experience and also, you know, going on pitch competitions, that sort of entrepreneurship mindset that led you to build that electric car? Because, you know, when it comes to making things, a lot of people think entrepreneurship and making new things is about making a product that's going to make money. But there's ways that we can build products that will help the world, like climate change, sustainably, without having like, you can't have a product that's sustainable and make money. How were you able to, you know, what were some of the strategies you used to make that happen?
So in regards to gearing to executing a sustainability project, in regards to entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship, it's about making something new through the help of a business model, right? Using a business model to bring something to life. And sometimes the difficulty with a sustainability solution is that there are not that many ways to make money from there, right? So in the real world, how it would happen is to benefit specific sector of the market. For example, if we were looking into food waste, food waste would benefit. It could benefit either, you know, restaurants, or it could benefit local households, right? But outside of that, it's something that's difficult to monetize, right? So it's about, like, figuring out which sector it could help the most, because if it's just there, like, you will need to live from, like, a business model, right? But in regards to eco-engineering, right, so the strategies that helped me, like, execute and build it were more geared toward project management. So it's about organizing. I think I was able to do what I did through a lot of order, creating order of what needs to happen and by when, right? So, and also making clear expectations of how things has to be done, right? I think that is very clear for any project. You know, when do you want to do it? Why do you want to do it? And what you need to make it happen, right? And give yourself a good amount of time to complete those things. You know, I for the teams I had to manage. So I had to manage 4 engineering teams. It was drivetrain electronics, ergonomics, steering, and shell and aerodynamics. Each one had their own challenges and requirements and all of that. But they all were able to be executed just following the same principle of what you need to do and by when and how, and, you know, how much time it requires. And then that thing, you have to, like, that is the future, right? That you create a future through those lenses, and that's something that you always have to manage, right? The future, the present always changes, brings you things that you're not aware of, so you have to constantly adapt your, you know, those things.
When you were building your car, right? Like, now that we understand that, like, you were saying the business models is something important when looking into making sustainable inventions, because it's not really a profitable business model, but there's unique ways that you can, you know, find that happen. I also noticed that in you know, creating electrical cars, which is like, it helps the environment by not wasting so much CO2. It's very technical.
Yes.
And there's a lot of inventions that are very like technical in that aspect. So how did, having that background in mechanical engineering help you, create that? How can engineering help make an invention that like a sustainable invention?
And sustainable invention. So engineering itself, it's about making something new, right? So it's about designing systems. So that's the beauty about mechanical engineering. You come up with a thought, and then you can make it. So with so the sustainability solutions, right? What helped me, for example, with like cars, with like this electric vehicle, it's like the thinking process, right? Because like I was a sophomore when I became president, right? I didn't know nothing about making electric cars, what are the requirements, what this and that. But then being able to have this mindset that you can create anything, right? As long as you know the requirements and you know what's it called, the requirements and the things that are needed, you could make something happen, right? So it applies not specifically to sustainability, it applies to anything, all right? So with sustainability in itself, what helps is just understanding so many different technologies. By being just in the space of mechanical engineering, you learn about so many different technologies that you encounter, and you can use that to apply them in some different ways. So everything is about, like, sustainability is about making things efficient and using less energy as possible and less material. So if it's as a mechanical engineer that's your goal, then there's definitely like ways to do that.
What do you think about like windmills and solar panels? Could they be more efficient?
Yeah, so solar panels, if you look into the technology, the scale of the price of solar panels is dropping exponentially, and that is seen through economy of scales as technology is being mass adopted. It's easier to manufacture, right? Because of more larger orders. So I think with sustainability solutions, because they're very expensive, it requires time for them to be adopted. Like you can see with electric cars. Electric cars started like super expensive. Teslas were like 80,000, and a lot of the cars, 3 years ago were like 60,000 and above, and now we're seeing cars that are 30,000. So, what it just requires time to get to get those solutions, to be mass adopted.
You're so right, Olbin. Creativity is something that we really need in sustainable solutions.
Yeah.
How did you apply your creativity when creating the engineering car? Because I remember you did mention that before even being an engineer, you wanted to be an artist.
Yeah. So I believe engineering is a form of art, and the reason is arts for me is expressing what you're thinking, right? And using something to express it is creating something new. Being creative is being able to connect thoughts and put them put them into one simple package, right? It could be a painting, it could be, creativity is applied in fashion, in clothes. You see like let's say a new fashion designer creating a very nice dress that you never thought would be like a dress that will have this type of design. And you think, oh wow, that person is so creative, right? That's a form of art, being able to create combine so many different thoughts and put them in a simple package, right? And presented it that way. So creativity is seen in everything, and I think it applies very well in engineering because engineering is about, I have this challenge for you, right? What are you gonna do about it, right? They don't give you a guide, they don't give you a book. You just have to figure out like your way to do about it, and because of that, there are so many different, let's say, for example, cars. Like let's say like pickup trucks. Oh, they do the same job, but they do it like sometimes in a different manner. Like for example, like the frames of the of the cars vary. So the frames is like the main thing that supports like all the systems of the cars, right? So for example, there's the traditional way of just having like two beams that are connected by perpendicular beams, right? And then there's other methods that there's like the Cybertruck that is a exoskeleton, right? And then there's another way of what's it called, creating different systems. So they all serve the same purpose. They serve in a different way, and it requires a lot of that like same creativity, thinking to connect dots and see things in that way, So I believe that engineering is a from an expression, in the kids, it's we'll see like they try to craft things, right? So I think everyone has that. It just requires a lot of being brave to fail, because engineering is a lot about failure. Really? It's into the systems, right? So engineering, it's about first, the different ways to think about it, but to create something, you first have to design it, then you have to make a prototype, then you test that prototype, and then you refine it, and then you release the final results. But testing, some people take years to do that. So because you never get the things right, you have to always reconsider like your thinking, your assumptions and things. And so engineering is always, bringing your ideas, but also refining your ideas, constantly refining your ideas.
How do you apply your creativity to like building engineering, how, like the different parts of the car, how did you design it? Like in what way did you do it?
So the parts that had to be designed were the shell. There were some components in the motor controller that had to be designed, and there were some parts in ergonomics that had to be custom made. So I had an influence in leading the people to make those things happen, right? For example, the motor controller, we had to be the motor controller was a really hard thing because we had to make it from scratch because of the competition rules, and basically nobody knew how to. We had two senior electrical engineering students, and they wouldn't even know where to start. So and I was a mechanical engineering student. I even have less idea of where to start. So, but then that's you start with like researching, getting as much information about the problem about like the systems, and then applying those things, right? So with design itself, right? So with the motor controller, what happened is we didn't know exactly how certain parts worked, right? So that was a difficult part, like how the motor controller works by turning off the inside components of the electric motor to make it spin.
So far, what I've learned, Olbin, is that you've used your creativity and design and systems design through the CAD program to create those like very detailed parts of the car.
Yeah.
And you said that there's the parts that are, you know, the best in engineering are the ones that can be used for multiple use cases.
They're able to sustain. They're able to accomplish the same goal, but regardless of the environment that they're in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that we need when building a sustainable solution, because if you don't have like how you said about solar panels, is that like they're pretty cheap now, but like how you store that energy is like it's like not good. And if we can find a sustainable solution is like how can we make a solution that can not take up a lot of the resources that we have, you know, and then a solution that a part of engineering, like a part or something that can be used in multiple cases, is something that doesn't have to use multiple resources and stuff like that. And that's why you need creativity, engineering, and then how you said your project management, leadership, entrepreneurial background kind of helped you, you know, help make that happen. It's like a good mix of everything.
Yeah.
So my last question for you, I was reading this Harvard case study by Rosabeth Canthermos that Miami can be the hub for climate solutions. What are your thoughts on that? How can Miami be more sustainable? How can Miami become that? Like become a hub for sustainable solutions?
So Miami recently, the past couple of years have gathered a momentum in the tech ecosystems, tech startup. Thanks for the push that the mayor has done, Francis Suarez. And so I think that requires that's what needs to happen. People to be convinced that this space in Miami, it's possible to build things. So what do you need to have a startup hub? All you need is people. The people that have the talent, the people that have the resources to be in the same place. You know, Silicon Valley is, you know, the standard tech hub. But like if those, you know, let's say it's 100,000 people, 100,000 like founders, they were in Arkansas. Like it doesn't matter, you know, they're in Arkansas, and it's as long as they are there, you know. So that's the same thing that's needed in Miami. We need to have these people to come here and be in the same place and show that Miami has a really good quality of life. In regards to sustainability, to make this, Miami like a specifically sustainability hub, what will be needed is more support from you know the government to have more, you know, like projects for these people to participate in, and also bringing how we say bringing industries, those industries into that space, right? So in Florida there's solar, wind, but there's no hydro energy because there's no way. But there's potentially other industries that can be implemented, right? So it will also be the role of the government to bring that, or have someone that has really good resources to bring a specific industry into Miami. For example, if some wild new entrepreneur decided to build a new electric car company based in Miami, you know, that will start up a new new industry here.
I think we're speaking a lot. Are you hopeful for the future of sustainability? Because right now, you know, climate change is kind of getting kind of bad.
Yeah.
To be honest.
So I feel like with artificial intelligence, like I think that we're gonna see even more sustainability solutions. We'll be able to optimize more solutions, because we will have more abilities to compute things faster. So yeah, I'm very hopeful for the future. I think it's just it requires just a bit of time and the energy to of everyone to
time,
pursue.
energy, creativity, engineering, and entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
That's what we have today. Thank you so much, Olbin. This was
Thank
such
you.
an insightful conversation. I learned a lot of things that I did not know. You know, sometimes when you think about creating software, creating a product, you never think about, like, you know, things like the ecosystem, which is a place where we live every single day. We don't think about the actual impacts that it could have later on. And if we use like creative minds like yours to build sustainable solutions like electric cars nowadays, imagine the benefit that it could have in the future, and how much of a less impact, you know, global warming will have in Miami and Florida and in the world, really.
Yeah. No, it's good to talk and share about all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sustainability, engineering is just such a wide field to explore.
Yeah. It's like a merging of two loves.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Olbin. Now I'm gonna let you, you know, I'm gonna give you space so you can promote anything or in how people can reach you.
Yeah. So, well, I think now that we talk about eco-engineering, I'll encourage anyone who is interested, not just in sustainability, but also in engineering in general, to look into the club. You know, because this club is about anyone who just wants to pursue the interest. You don't have to know anything. You don't have to come in with, I mean, I think I came in like knowing almost anything, you know. So anyone can come into this club, and there are different areas in the car that might interest you. If you're interested in electronics, there's an area for you. Interested in design, or interested in just building and welding, you know, that's an area for you. So the club is located in the FIU engineering campus, and you can just reach them through Instagram. Look at the times of the WhatsApp, join the WhatsApp group. So the Instagram is FIU_Eco Club, and join the WhatsApp group through the links there, and be updated on when to join, when to participate.
And how can people reach you?
They could reach me through LinkedIn. So if you just search on LinkedIn, you can just search my name, Olbin Gill. I'll just appear there, or just reach me through Instagram at _Olbin, and I'll be there. You can shoot me a message if you want.
That's it. Thank you so much, Olbin.
Thank you.
This was good.
For sure.
Yay! Thanks for listening to the Forward Thinker Show podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.